Hello and welcome to another episode of Gadgets and Gizmos. My name is Gaurav Upreti, and in this week's episode we have Apple and no oranges, but yes, we have Gadgets and Gizmos. So in this week's episode, cool rich people rejoice, new iPhone, new iPad and Apple Watch are in town. Cool and not so rich people can also rejoice because we have the unique budget smartphone also in town. And we also have the Panasonic Iluga. And there's much more. So yes, the wait is over. Apple has launched its new iPhone, its new iPad, next version of Apple Watch and also Apple TV. I hate iPhone because I can't afford it. Also because one of my friends just lost his iPhone 6 for which he was saving for the last 6 months. Now he's in depression. I don't want to die.
Show me something new.
So the annual Apple Fiesta is finally over and we can all get back to our normal lives now.
The new Apple TV.
Well, there's a small matter of rounding up what Apple has launched for this season. This event was more of a confirmation of all the rumors that came before it. There was a new Apple TV with a new OS called, unsurprisingly, the tvOS. New more powerful hardware inside the box, which stays close to the established Apple TV design paradigm. A new remote was also unveiled, which boasted Siri voice search and a trackpad on top of the remote, which boasted touchscreen-like capabilities and a full suite of motion sensors. Here is the important bit. The Apple App Store is going to be part of Apple TV, which theoretically means tons of new apps, and going by Apple's track record, this means the adaptation rate for the new APIs is going to be quick and efficient.
TV shows on iTunes. One of the great new things on Apple TV is the App Store. Of course, I have access to my photos.
Some developers previewed games and apps as they worked on Apple TV, and they look good, but without actually using the box, it's a bit tough to tell how it will actually work. Another problem is that Netflix, Hulu and HBO Go aren't available in India, so expect some time before the box comes to our shore. The Apple TV will be launched in the US late October, starting at $149. There was also the iPad Pro. The long-rumored 12.9-incher is finally official and it looks awesome. With powerful desktop-grade processing and graphical capabilities in tow. The feature it touts almost make it a replacement to the MacBook Air, almost in the same league as the Microsoft Surface as well. There's a keyboard cover and a stylus known as Apple Pencil, which comes as an add-on accessory and make it seem like a powerful compact laptop, except, it's running iOS. Oh, there was also this epic moment where Microsoft and Apple were on the same stage. The pricing for the iPad Pro will start at $749. The Apple Watch also gets a new version and now we have more apps than before. Also, Apple has collaborated with Hermes to make those cool stylish straps. So now you have new colors and plenty of straps to choose from. Apple's bread and butter, iPhone also got an overhaul. We have the new iPhone 6s and the 6s Plus. They still look the same except for new hardware and some nifty features. You get a new A9 chip which is 1.8 times faster than the previous gen A8 chip. Also, it takes the graphic performance to a whole new level. Another new addition is what everyone calls Force Touch, and Apple calls it 3D Touch, of course. It is like a right-click button on the mouse, which will give you more options to choose from. You also get a new 12-megapixel iSight camera with a new Retina flash for better pictures that are true to color. The good news is the pricing, which remains the same as the previous iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus. Of course, it's good news for the US fans because the rupee is still kind of struggling against the dollar. But the iPhone should be expected to come to India around the festival time. Smile on her face lets me know she needs me, but the truth in her eye tells me, oh, she wants my money. Anyway, we have the new Unique. It's a budget smartphone, and my overweight friend Sahil with his newly acquired pimple is here with his review.
Thanks, Gaurav. Really thanks. I really appreciate it. I can really see that extra flab is getting to your head. Anywho, as you know, in India we guys talk about roti, kapda and makan. But in this day and age of hyperconnectivity, a affordable smartphone really becomes a bare necessity. And with that, especially with 4G being all the rage, especially out here in Delhi, we bring you a really unique product. It's by a company called You. It's a fully owned subsidiary of Micromax, and the product's name, quite aptly, is Unique. And it's a really affordable 4G enabled smartphone. It's a really interesting product. Let's take a deep dive into it. For a phone that costs just rupees 5,000, the design and build quality of this phone is frankly quite astounding. You get this polycarbonate back. The entire phone is built out of polycarbonate, which is a dense type of plastic, which is not really unique, but for a phone that just costs rupees 5,000, it's quite nice to have. It's got this rubberized feel to its back, which is nice in the hand, but it gets a little smudged. Out here you will see this satin ring pattern, which is a hallmark of U's design language. It's fine, we have no issues with it. It looks quite handsome out here on this phone. But there are oddities. For example, this 3-element key. The power key is sandwiched between the two volume rockers, which is really difficult to use. Frankly, it is a horrendous design decision, which something we like you to change. And yes, not you. We are talking about the company out here. Overall, it's a really nice product, and plus it can also be used with a single hand because it's just a 4.7-inch screen. As they say, the screen is the window into the universe of your phone or whatever smart device you're using. And out here with the Unique, the screen really shines through. It's got a 4.7-inch screen. It's got a HD resolution. You says this is actually the world's cheapest HD 4G enabled smartphone, and the screen is really nice. It's really sharp. It's got a pixel density of 312 pixels per inch, which is adequate. It's almost as good as the iPhone out here, and it's reinforced with Corning's Gorilla Glass 3, which apparently has 5 times more strength than traditional cover glass, which is also a really nice feature to have on a phone which costs so less. So if you are a person who really drops your phone a lot, then this might come in handy. Well, the screen is quite bright, you've got decent viewing angles. It's a really nice screen for the price. It may not blow you away if you use a Samsung Galaxy S6, but if you're used to phones from Micromax which cost less than 10,000, this one is going to really wow you. Used phones are normally known for their performance and responsiveness, both in terms of hardware and software. And the Unique is no different out here. It packs in a lot of punch in terms of hardware. You get a Qualcomm Snapdragon 410 processor, you get 1 GB of RAM and 8 GB of internal storage, which can be further expanded using a micro SD card slot. And all of this in a package that just costs rupees 5,000. Even in terms of software, you get a basic stock build of Android 5.1 Lollipop with certain minute customizations to the camera app and the gallery app. That also means you don't get CyanogenMod 12.1. That's an optional upgrade which you will facilitate for people who really want that. But you'd probably need to avoid that because that'll take up more memory and it'll probably reduce the responsiveness of the phone. Overall, it's a really decent phone in terms of performance if you like to use it as a backup phone or for basic tasks like email, social media and making calls obviously. This is going to be a really decent phone. Even in terms of gaming, lightweight games like Angry Birds are going to work pretty well on it. Yes, if you're going to play really heavy duty games like Dead Trigger 2, then probably this is not going to be the phone for that. But overall, the experience is really rock solid for a phone that costs rupees 5,000. Additionally, You is also going to cover you if you intend to root this phone. And that's a thing that every manufacturer should follow, in my humble opinion, that is obviously. Continuing with my theme of roti, kapda and makan, you know, when you're buying a smartphone, you're always looking for a really good display like this one out here. You're looking for decent levels of performance and you're looking for a good camera. But you know what? That's a really difficult combination to find in any smartphone, leave alone a smartphone that costs just 5 grand. Luckily out here we get an 8 megapixel camera, which is decent if you're willing to be patient with it. By that I mean it's a really slow camera. It's almost like slow motion. But if you're willing to be patient with it, if you can get a good frame in, it'll take good photos, decent photos, not really iPhone-like photos, but decent ones. In daylight, the performance gets even better, and most people will be really happy with the performance. It's going to be adequate for most people. On the front, there's a 2 megapixel camera with a wide-angle lens. You won't really fit in a lot of people in the frame with that, but still it's going to be relatively decent, and the camera really shoots quickly, so you can really take selfies at a really rapid clip. Phone's battery life really worries people, but I'll tell you, fret not, because I've been using the Unique for the last 3 days and it has delivered 8 hours of battery life with really heavy duty usage. If you're a lightweight user unlike me, then it's going to eke out even more battery life. The bottom line is that it's going to deliver good battery life and it's going to last through your workday, and that's what most people care about. And overall, that's the story of this phone. It's a really paisa vasool product. It does everything decently and it's going to make for a really good phone for someone who is investing in his first smartphone or someone who is looking for a backup smartphone. But there's going to be one problem with this phone. It's going to be sold through a flash sale on snapdeal.com, which you may know is not the nicest way of buying a smartphone. And for that, you'll need to register right now on Snapdeal so that you can buy the phone on September 15th. It's going to be sold every Tuesday on Snapdeal at 12 p.m. Getting the phone is going to be a little problematic because knowing you, there aren't going to be many units up for sale.
After a long time, we have a tablet to review. It seems that nobody wants to buy a tablet except for the iPad. Rohit has the new Micromax Canvas Tab and he was looking happy for a change. Let's find out why.
This is the Micromax Canvas Tab P680, and unfortunately the only reason I was carrying this around was to find a place to dump it. On paper, it looks like the perfect device. An okay build, a better than decent screen, good battery life, optional SIM cards. It looks like it ticks all the boxes. But here's the thing. There's a difference between offering features as bullet points and offering a good experience. Design-wise, the tablet isn't bad. I was pleasantly surprised when I first got hold of the device. It was lightweight, sturdy and well made. It looked decent too. The back of the device has this pleasant metal-like finish even though the tab is plastic. It does a really good job imitating premium unibody designs even if it's not unibody. There's also a rubber-like finish which adds to the grip of the tablet. It feels really nice in the hand. The 8-inch display on the front runs at 1280 by 800 pixel resolution, and while it won't blow you away, it's decent. It has good viewing angles and we had no real complaints with the videos we managed to run on it. So far so good, right? Here's where the plot thickens. When it comes to performance, the P680 is a terrible performer. There are lags abound everywhere. It feels like Android was just slapped on here without really optimizing it. The software itself is mostly stock, but with tons of annoying bloatware. Worst is the fact that some of these can't be removed. We also ran into a few weird bugs like apps ghosting from the recent panel onto the home screen. It makes the whole experience seem untidy. Frankly, it's a mess. Micromax will really have to issue a bunch of OTAs to fix the problem. But it might be because the quad-core MediaTek processor on here just doesn't cut it. Whatever the case, using it is a frustrating, slow experience. Coming to the camera, it's decent. It's surprisingly not terrible. It's just passable, but you really won't be using a tab to take photos. If you do, you really need to reassess your priorities in life. The battery life, while not particularly top-notch, isn't terrible. We were able to eke out close to 10 to 12 hours on a single charge, which is fairly good. The bottom line is that P680 is not a tablet you want to buy. There are better ways to spend the Rs 9,499 Micromax asks you for it.
So two peanuts walked into a bar and one was assaulted. Welcome back, you're still watching Gadgets and Gizmos. My name is Gaurav Preti and we have the new Panasonic Aluga, a budget smartphone with us. And Sir Gaurav Preti is here with his review because it's all about loving yourself. This week we're reviewing a smartphone that was launched quite some time back. It came to us but we lost it. Here is the phone and that's the culprit. This is the Panasonic Aluga. Yes. Sounds like one of those old WWE characters, doesn't it? Okay, we'll talk about the design now. It's a plain, simple design. They haven't really tried to do anything fancy over here, and that's what goes for this phone. I really like it. It's a unibody design made of all plastic. You have these smooth, curved edges. The only problem that you would find is the camera, which is sort of protruding out, but that is the case with all the phones which claim that their camera is very superior because the lens, it cannot be fitted in. It has to come out. So get a cover. That's the only solution. And besides that, it's a dual SIM phone and the SIMs are on the side and it's covered by a flap which doesn't look that durable. You'll feel that any day it would just come off. Same is the case with the micro SD card slot. So besides that, the phone, it looks good. So the Panasonic Aluga has a 720p display which is bright. It is colorful but bright. The touch response is good. You swipe across the menus quite nicely. Yes, in the age of Android Lollipop, you still have a phone running on old version Android KitKat. But never mind, the icons look nice, no pixelation whatsoever, and there are preloaded apps, but they are neatly packed in those folders, so it's a pretty much neat and clean interface. Another advantage of having a 720p bright display is watching videos, and it was a delight indeed. Now, powering this device is a MediaTek MT6752 processor along with 2 GB of RAM. And I must say the performance is not bad at all. I've been using this phone for a week now and I haven't really faced any major problem whatsoever. So be it browsing, watching videos, opening multiple apps, switching between those apps, playing games, I've encountered no frame drop or no hanging whatsoever, nor any major heating issues. And also one more thing that I would like to mention over here is the audio quality, which is good for this device. It was surprisingly great. The problem in performance comes when you do a comparison, and I'll do a comparison towards the end. So for right now, performance is good. Now let's talk about the camera. So this protruding camera is actually a 13MP camera and it does a good job. I was impressed with the picture quality, the details were intact, sharpness was okay at a reasonably good level, and so was the color reproduction. The problem is with low light pictures, but the problem what I'm talking about is that it takes a bit of time because it's trying to add that brightness and also trying to keep that noise level to the minimal. There is noise, but then it does a good job in terms of keeping it minimal. The front camera is a 5MP camera and you have a pre-installed face beauty filter which actually softens your skin tone. So yeah, it's saving you time, and I think as a selfie camera, it does a good job as well. Another USP of this device is a massive 3500 mAh battery, which will ensure that you don't have to charge your phone twice. Now, the phone at 11,000 rupees competes against the like of Eureka Plus, Lenovo K3 Note, and also the Mi 4i. And the first thing that goes against this is that it doesn't have a full HD display. All of them do. Also, they perform a little better than this. It's about the overall experience. But then again, it's not a bad performer. I think it's a value for money device, and I don't believe in comparisons because I still hate my neighbor for joining IIT because I went to IP, and I don't think I'm doing that bad in life. Oh, I got a bus to catch. मेरे पास PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, Alienware laptop, 256 games हैं. What do you have? Girlfriend.
Alto's Adventure is not a game that I would have tried looking at some screenshots alone. What really got me interested is the awesome trailer for the game that juxtaposed mellow, chill music with a gorgeous, fluent art style. Being a PC gamer, I usually don't tend to look toward gaming on mobile devices as something that can be engrossing, exciting and fun. I mean, sure, there are games like Infinity Blade or Republic that do quite a lot with the touchscreen and had me hooked. Heck, Yearwalk was probably my fondest gaming experience when it came out. But these games are far and few between and usually sandwiched between endless runners and pointless, annoying puzzle games. So there I was, clicking the buy button and wondering what I had gotten myself into. What I got exceeded my greatest of expectations. At its core, Alto's Adventure is an endless runner with a simple control scheme and a difficulty curve that gradually increases the more you level up. You start as Alto but also unlock a variety of other characters as you progress. The game itself is deviously simple to control. Just tap anywhere on the screen to jump and tap and hold to perform a variety of tricks, all of which differ from character to character. The main goal here is to earn points and upgrade to the next level. The main draw here, besides the wonderfully tight gameplay, is the visual presentation of the game. All of the procedurally generated levels eschew a sense of beauty. Weirdly enough, the flat design to most of the art in the game reminded me a bit of Google's Material Design. I'm sure this is purely coincidental though. The game soundtrack also features laid-back mellow tunes that fit the atmosphere perfectly and help build the sense of trance as you progress further and further. Overall, Alto's Adventure is a reminder that there are still unexplored classics lurking in the App Store. If nothing else, it's given me a reason to pick up my iPad again.
Alright, with that, it's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed watching the episode. We'll be meeting you next week. And remember, do serious, but don't look serious. That's what we believe. And like I say in Japanese, watashi wa